Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another Ask Engineer. We're here at the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan. It's me, Lady Ada the engineer. You can tell because I got a little thing here, and with me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. And doesn't smile, but that's okay. He's smiling on the inside. And we've got, yes, he's so quiet and cute. We got an exciting show for you tonight. Guys, awesome new products, a lot of news. We're going to answer some questions. We have some, it's not out yet, so don't ask. Oh boy, we're going to take you on a magic carpet ride. Take it away, Mr. Lady Ada.
Okay, well, on tonight's show, the code is Voyager. 10% off the native store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything except for gift certificates and software and AdaBot subscriptions. We'll be talking about why the code is Voyager, or as I like to call it, Voyager, and more. Show and tell. We'll show and talk about some of the projects people show and shared with us from around the world. Pack the Mailbag's going to stop by. We're going to read your letters. Adafruit job board, where makers post their skills and companies look for those said makers. Time travel, look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, and engineers, and more. We'll have some factory footage and more. Some Internet of Things news. 3D printing. New products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a top secret thing. It's going to be really cool. We're going to do a trivia question.
That's not a secret.
All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Yay!
Okay. All right,
it's back to us.
Yeah, let's pay some bills. Voyager's code 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Boy, it's fun not having to worry about advertisers and venture funding,
servicing loans,
and credit cards and loans and all that, dealing with banks.
We don't have that.
We don't have that. And it's nice because we get to do a lot of interesting things like shows every week, but we're only supported
like puppets.
by... Yeah, there's puppets.
Do you think that if we had VCs, they would let us do a puppet show?
Nope.
They would not let us do a puppet show. They'd say, why aren't you maximizing shareholder value?
You have 2 kidneys. Why aren't you renting out one?
Exactly.
So anyways, we're supported by you out there who purchases kits. So purchase
you like what we're doing?
Things. That's it.
Support us.
Yeah.
We'll keep doing it.
Okay. This is Ask an Engineer. This is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Show and Tell is every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. We're trying to get confirmation from Google because I'll go through this later in the show, but I believe our Hangouts is the longest running live Hangout. We've been doing it for 5 years.
We started it when Hangouts first came out.
Yeah, no, I believe it's the longest running one, and I can't get confirmation, so that means it is. That's how it works now.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways,
don't worry, you won't get any recognition.
no YouTube trophy for me. So. We have UPS Ground for free, $200 or more. In New York, if you check out before 11 a.m., we have same-day delivery as an option. And Lady Ada, we have a lot on the show tonight. We're going to speed right along the show and tell. People around the world every week for the last 5 years have been showing each other, the world, and you, their projects.
Yes.
What was on the show this week?
Oh boy. Okay, so today we had quite a few people. Start off with Noah and Pedro, which they have 3D Hangouts tomorrow. Don't forget to watch 3D Thursdays every week. All the latest in 3D news and new projects just about every week. This week they have a fun but easy project. It's a remix of the Unicorn Horn project they did a while ago. They just updated it, made it a little bit easier to print, put a UV LED. It's a great, simple project to update your hoodie. Tony D has a fresh new MicroPython guide out. It's using the ESP8266 with SD cards. You can store files or music or whatever onto an SD card, and then you can load them via MicroPython. So it's really handy because it's like MicroPython. You can manage large files very easily because it's a much higher level language. So there's a guide on that, and we have a fresh new MicroPython category.
I'll be talking about that soon.
It's okay, I will not tune in, and maybe you'll hear about it. Maybe Phil will tell you about it. I actually should have asked her to say her name, but I think it's Nemesis, which is really cool.
Yeah, we get to meet our nemesis.
I know she is my nemesis.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's not pronounced that way, but if it isn't, maybe consider pronouncing it that way.
It's a cool name.
That's cool. She made a bunch of plates with an Arduino and a micro SD breakout, a Pi Zero with an OLED using Tony DeCola's example code, and then a tester jig for some Osh Park boards that have just been ordered, and they have an Edward Scissorhands cutout, which is key. You want me to add Edward Scissorhands to all of our cutouts too, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I think that would be a very good option for people.
Okay, maybe
No,
we'll
it would be a pull down. Every product, yes, I would like to have it Edward Scissorhandized.
No, on the tester.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
I was maybe, anyways.
You want all of them? What
Yeah.
about like Edward Pogo Pin hands?
Yeah.
You just kind
Yeah.
of presses you.
He's constantly testing you.
He's constantly testing
Yeah.
you. That's how you feel every day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
The world is a pogo pin.
that's
Okay.
the meaning of life. Okay, Amelia had a capelet. A capelet. It's a cape, but it's small. And she made it for Burning Man. It has flora, neopixels in it, and she uses the snap technique to attach the flora, which is super cool. And she wants to work on it, maybe cover up the conductive threads. Orlando built I actually don't understand what this was. It's not a pulse sensor, it's a pulse simulator. And he's using it for students who want to, I guess, measure and analyze pulse sensors. So he built a fully analog pulse, like it creates a pulse wave, like the RSTU, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that course at MIT, so I don't remember the names of all the wavelets, but he did it all in analog because he's stubborn, and we applaud him for it. So check that out. Chris Young updated his infrared library code, so check that out at tech.cyborg5.com.
Yeah, he did a huge library update and then like 120 something page manual for
Yeah.
all the different ways to control things over
Yeah.
IR.
Good for home automation. I mean, like, look,
good for
IR
everything.
works great for home automation. We've been using it for remote controls for decades. It works great. You can get really powerful IR LEDs and extremely sensitive IR diodes these days, or receivers, and so you can control a device around the house. So he's using it for improved access for disabilities and stuff, but you can use it for all sorts of projects. Benji came in with a tefillin case that he made using a Formlabs 3D printer, which is really neat. So it's like mitzvah electronics. So I think that's kind of cool. And he's using a Formlabs, which is interesting. Not a lot of people who do 3D printing have a Formlabs, but he says he really likes it. And it looked beautiful, like it was perfect smooth edges for this mold. Richard A. has some sort of a rotary encoder turntable with neopixels and LED. He wouldn't say what it is. I think it's either like a scratching practice tool or a wheel of fortune for his cat, but he wouldn't admit it. He says it's a secret. So maybe he'll come back and tell us later. Aiden has a 3D printed bouncy ball and gave us a micro lecture on metamaterials. Very interesting to hear about how different ways of 3D printing can create different elastomer effects. And then C. Scott gave a memorial for Bukla, who recently passed away, a pioneer in modular and analog synthesizers. I know a lot of people who are really big fans of the Bukla synthesizers. And so check it out. I think we have some on some memorial photographs and text on our website as well. There's also, I saw a New York Times article about it if you are not aware of his amazing legacy. So really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All participants on the Show and Tell get an As Seen on Show and Tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com and we will send you out one. This is all part of the Adafruit Live Series. Live series shows that we do all the time here. We had Desk of Lady Ada, Watch Tony D. This week on Watch Tony D, I think he just finished up one, but the two that I grabbed from the playlist this week is MicroPython Basics. What's MicroPython? That's an update. We wanted to get folks spun up on what it is, how to use it, differences between it and other types of microcontroller platforms, and then MicroPython hardware SD card storage with Tony D. There's guides for that and more. And we've been doing a bunch of stuff with MicroPython. We just updated some graphics. We're working with Damien, who's in charge of the MicroPython project, so you'll see some stickers and badges pretty soon.
Look at this cute snake.
Yeah, so you'll see
Snack.
that, and we also have a bunch of stuff going on with MicroPython, so I wanted to show that. In addition to, and this is what we were talking about before, we now have a section on learn.adafruit.com, MicroPython.
Just for MicroPython.
Just for MicroPython. There's already 11 guides, 39 pages, and the list is increasing
Everything
every
from
single week.
digital I/O analog to
Yeah.
compiling your own firmware for the ESP8266, all the different boards that come with MicroPython, I2C sensors, SPI sensors. It's really, this is, if you're interested in being on the cutting edge, MicroPython is what we think is going to be.
Is this cutting edge?
It's cutting edge, but I also think it's kind of going to be what everybody uses. It's simple, it's powerful. The microcontrollers that we have now are advanced enough that we can run a Python interpreter It kind of brings the joy back into microcontrollers. What I really love is the people who told us that Arduino is baby programming for pot smokers are going to be just like totally livid, because it's now you don't even compile. You just like type. You just type whatever the heck you want, and it just
They're
happens.
not going to know what to hate.
They're not even going to know.
I think it's tough for a lot of people to not know what you want to hate. You want to hate something, and you want to hate a lot. But what? There's so many choices.
Well, MicroPython is an excellent thing to hate if you want to restrict programming to only people who are
like kids
willing to learn assembly or microcode.
Yeah.
I think this is. What's interesting is, after you use MicroPython, you're like, wow, like C is low level, but you really are like, wow, C is really low level. And I believe in a couple of years it won't make sense to learn Arduino and C anymore. Arduino will be a MicroPython derivative. I mean, it has to be.
Okay.
Like people do not want to deal with pointers. They don't want to deal with pointers. They don't want to deal with malloc. They don't want to deal with like dereferencing. They don't want to deal with like arrays that are fixed size and buffer overflows and running out of memory with like no warning and like no garbage collector. They don't want that anymore. So anyways, that's my rant. But check out these lovely tutorials.
All right. In addition to all that going on, we have some Circuit Playground tutorials. John Park is working on one right now, and he has kind of a build in progress video that I wanted to show. So here we go.
Hey, it's John Park for Adafruit. I've got a quick tip for you. This is a conductive ink project I'm working on, and I've got a bigger project coming up that's going to be really rad using lots of conductive ink. Now, I was a little disappointed in my freehand painting of the ink, but I am happy with the way it works. You can see this light blinking here as I touch a capacitive pad that's been drawn out with the paint. But I figured I could do one better by creating some stencils. So let's take a look at using stencils to create better conductive ink patterns. I'm using 7mm Mylar, which is typically used for creating stencils. And I created a pattern that would match the spacing of the pads on this Circuit Playground board, so that when it lays flat on the ink, I can have conductive traces. Now, you could go ahead and create a pattern like this with a regular piece of printer paper and then trace it and cut it out with an X-Acto knife. I just happened to have the use of the laser cutter, which made it really fast and convenient. So now all I'm going to do is take some conductive ink and paint it on, staying within the lines of the template or the stencil the best I can. I don't want to get it glopped up underneath. It doesn't matter too much so long as that doesn't create a short between the lines. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit more here and then lay the board on it, and we can test that out once it dries. This kind of conductive paint becomes more conductive as it dries out. So let's set this aside and be a little bit careful peeling up my stencil. And now I'm going to set my board on those traces. Now we can wait for that to dry and then try it out. Okay, the paint has dried, and now I've put a little red LED sticker on there, and you can see that it's blinking because the paint is now conductive, and it looks a lot better than my freehand drawing. So that's your tip on using stencils to create conductive ink artwork.
Okay,
next up, and then we have a special guest video. Naomi sent this. She's in Shenzhen. She's one of the few people that's managed to do like a 360 video walkthrough through the electronics market.
Yeah.
And
which you're totally not supposed to do, but like nobody was, they're like, she's just some tourist, like let's not bug her.
So she has access to all sorts of things in Shenzhen, a lot of the electronics that people know and use, 3D printing projects and more. And she found this stuff that is, I guess it's like medical clear bandages.
Yeah.
And she made this video of using it with a Gemma and NeoPixel. So I have a clip from it, and then she also has wearing this as like cosplay, like Tron-like, as an accessory, like to make wearables truly wearable. So let's roll it.
This is a BLE beacon. In case you lost your friend at a party, you can find them with this. Once it's on, it's on. Dance, rub against things, sweat, spill drinks on it. It's really tough stuff. And the effect is great. In low light, it's pretty much invisible. Okay, this is just a simple little thing I have fun with. Nothing fancy or technical. Here's a video of me wearing the ELI stocking suit to the opening of my friend's restaurant. Hope everyone likes it.
Okay, back to Mailbag. We get letters from all of y'all every single week. We read these at our all-company meeting called State of the Fruit. This week, letter from Ed. Hello. Wow, I received my order on time. Well, package complete. I can't wait to get started, but wanted to thank the team first. I'm planning on making a wearable for our first FTC Robotics Day Championship in Montana. Thanks again, Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Rock on, Ed.
Glad that worked out. Okay, help on it. This is our Adafruit jobs board. Not to be confused, we don't really post job openings on our own jobs board. This is for the world.
Yes.
And sometimes we do, but most of the time it's only for people in the community who want to post their skills or companies who want to find makers. Mm-hmm. So this week, this is a neat one came in just a few minutes ago, but this is the one I had. This is a engineer, and Alex is in New York. Dependable and experienced electronics engineer with superb project completion record, adept at working independently with little no supervision as part of a professional engineering team, able to convey complex technological theories and concepts to a wide variety of audiences in a clear and accessible manner, extensive knowledge in designing DMX systems. So the list goes on here. The language is C, C++, and this is all the stuff that we get asked, will we do that for consulting? And we can't. We're too busy.
Oh, he's got a Samsung pick and place too.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
we can't do, as a company, we can't do that. We don't do consulting. We don't do engineering services. So go to the jobs board, especially if you're in New York, and look for these folks because they're around. And so this is Alex. The one that just came in, I think Parallax is hiring someone for like a UAV project or something. Pretty neat. The jobs board's hopping.
Hopping.
We have a pretty big success rate playing Maker
This
Matchmaker.
is a great place, and it's free, and it's a great place, and it's only like real companies. You're not going to get some weird headhunter that's going to sell you out. Like you're going to talk directly to the hiring manager, which is, and I think oftentimes if you respond to these ads because it's so targeted, you might get put ahead of like a cold call where you're just like, completely cold calling. They're expecting the maker community to contact them. So it could be a really good way to get people to make community employment, or if you want to hire, it's a very desirable skill set that people have.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have time travel. Back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers. Speaking of the code of the evening, Voyager, this was related to that, believe it or not.
Really?
There's a theme tonight.
Okay.
So happy birthday. This is Laura Spiegel. American composer is born. She worked at Bell Laboratories in computer graphics and known primarily for her electronic music compositions and her algorithmic composition software Music Mouse. She also plays the guitar and lute. Yeah. She was a pioneer in the New York new music scene. She withdrew from the scene early, believing that its focus has shifted from artistic process to product. One of the things that she's known for is creating the Sounds of Earth section of the golden record placed on the Voyager spacecraft in 1977. And her piece called Sentiment was used in the cornucopia scene in 2012 movie Hunger Games. So,
I have never heard of this person. How is that possible?
Because
she's so cool.
Because no one writes about women in technology. I'm sorry.
Can you check out her freaking synth? Look at this synth. This is amazing.
I'm sorry. Like every week on
on
Time Travel, like I think we're pretty good about like knowing some of these pioneers.
Yeah.
So she put the music or some of the music on the Voyager record. I've never heard her name either.
Everyone always says like, oh, the Beatles and like.
Yeah, and it's just
it's
just that journalists and others, they just don't have any desire to write about some of the pioneers, specifically women in the tech world. They just don't. It'll get better. We'll be one of the people that help make it better.
But meanwhile, look at all the cool people that you're learning about.
Yeah, every week we do this. So speaking of, it is becoming the 40th anniversary of the Voyager. Vidger. What does the Kirk creature want? No. So, anyways, there's a Kickstarter, and it's they're re-releasing it, and they're making a vinyl record of it, and it's on Kickstarter. Now, we don't normally promote Kickstarters. However, I backed this one. Did want to say that this is kind of neat. It has you get a book.
It's a friend of ours.
Yeah, you get a book. And
don't blame us if it doesn't work out, but you can blame him.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's going to be a gold record too? A golden?
It looks like it is.
Okay.
So, anyways, this is pretty cool.
And you backed it? Well, we do have a record player.
Yes, we have one, because we had to get a record player because we made a record.
Would we carry this? Because we carry two records.
I don't know. I'd like to.
Maybe. Okay.
I'd like to.
It's pretty neat.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Okay. And then
wait, I have a totally ridiculous question. Who owns the copyright for the Voyager?
I'm sure there is a long story.
I am totally going to ask Sarah Jung. I'm sure she's going to write an article.
So
that's a good question.
I think if you put this stuff in space with the goal of aliens finding it, you don't want to send them a cease and desist. However, Time Warner has probably already sent some alien race a cease and desist on accident.
Statistically speaking.
On accident, it happened. They regret the error. Okay. So, anyways, it's probably a
I don't know why I'm so
thing.
curious about this, but I am. Okay.
On our blog right now, it's National Hispanic Heritage Month. If you look on the site and search for the hashtag, you will be able to see all the posts we have. This is another example. So there's a lot of famous Hispanic engineers, artists, pioneers, and you don't hear their story that much. We use the Adafruit blog as a place. My challenge to all of y'all out there who talk about page views, electronic sites, tech sites, news sites, dedicate just a little portion, just like one post a day, or even a couple posts a month to some of these people. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do is raise a profile.
They're cool people.
Just get the word out that they did some interesting things. They did interesting things. So, anyways.
How can you argue with the loot?
2000, this is still time travel section.
Okay.
2011, Google announces on-air broadcasting from Google Plus Hangouts. I'm trying to get confirmation from Google, and that's a little difficult, but they're not saying no. They're just not confirming, which is kind of
neither confirm nor deny.
Which is kind of it's how you figure out that it's correct. So we believe that Adafruit's Show and Tell is the longest running Google Plus Hangout for the last 5 years. We've done one. I think we only missed like once or twice. But the longest running Google Plus Hangout Live series that's out there. And while they've changed what the tool does and more, it's worked out great for us. So it's a great way to bring a bunch of people together and show and share projects. Certainly not what they intended it for, or maybe they did. But if anyone's out there, or if there's an AI that's analyzing this, please tell your creator that we're interested in just knowing if this is correct, that it's the longest running Hangout. What? That's how, look, I'm trying everything.
Where are you going sometime?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
So open source hardware news, we're a supporting member. The documentation day is coming in October.
Maybe we'll have some sort of announcement for
yeah,
that.
the summit's coming up October 7th. Maker Faire is coming up in a week. SuperCon by Hackaday is coming up in November. And Lady Ada, what is on the learning system this week?
Okay.
Oof, I got through all the events. Okay.
All right, so we've got that MicroPython hardware with the SD card tutorial Tony D did, we mentioned, and the simple LED unicorn horn from Noah and Pedro. And then Colin also did a project that he'll be talking about more later, the meditation timer, which is using a pulse sensor, external pulse sensor with Circuit Playground to make like a breathing pulse sensor thingy, like to help you manage your breathing. We also have a mini guide from Phil B about the world's smallest MAME arcade cabinet, which blew up on the internet last week. So if you're looking for some more instructions and maybe some downloads, it's not a full guide. He's like put 8,000 warnings in it. It's a total pain in the ass to build, but check it out if you're I don't know, if you're feeling like you like pain. Check that out. And then, of course, we've got, I think, the MicroPython SPI devices. That might have been from last Friday. I don't remember. Might as well toss that in. Another awesome MicroPython guide from Tony D.
Okay. All right. Next
We're up to how many total? Like 1,070, I think.
1,070.
1,070.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocking along.
Okay. This is Nimbus, friendly cloud entity.
Hi.
Yeah, Nimbus is what represents the Internet of Things. We have opinions about the Internet of Things. We did a Bill of Rights. Check it out. We also made Adafruit IO. It's still in beta. And we are helping folks make some of those Internet of Things services on their own terms. And it's working out. We have an IO update this week. Todd posted this up. We are up to 45.3 million inserts of log data in the last 7 days, 16,000 users. We have over 11,000 online feeds, 41,000 feeds total. There's 75 inserts per second via MQTT and 10 inserts per second via REST API. This is the Maker Internet of Things service that we always wanted. Now we're building it. And we've used it for the simplest things, like there's a leak in the bathroom and it would text us so the whole apartment didn't flood. And people are doing very complicated things and very long data logging features, and they can always get their data out. Like, we're very clear about it's your data. So use it. It's in beta. We're not charging for it yet. We will eventually, so enjoy it while you
Works
can.
great with our hardware.
Yeah, that was the point.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along. Made in New York, we have our manufacturing videos. Every Monday, we put these up on our Twitters and Vines and more. These are bags.
That's how we do this thing.
Yeah. And then this is conductive solder paste. Yeah. Okay, next up, 3D printing. Zip, 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 zip. This week, Noah and Pedro have a very simple version of the LED unicorn. Here we go.
Take it away.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another project video. I'm Noah for Adafruit, and it's September. You know what that means? It's unicorn season. Halloween is about a month away, but it'll be right around the corner if you don't plan for it, so it's time to start planning. Last year we put together a 3D printed unicorn horn. This year we thought we'd remake it using some new modeling techniques. So let's check it out.
So this is a really simple project that you can make in about an hour, and a great one for anyone who's new to electronics. We'll only need a battery, an on and off switch, and any color LED, but preferably purple. You'll also need some tools like a soldering iron, some wire, and a needle and thread. This is a perfect project for the M3D Micro 3D printer because it's small enough to fit on the bed, and it works really well printed in flexible filaments like NinjaFlex's Cheetah. We designed it in Fusion 360 using sculpt tools, and it's basically a tapered coil that spirals around a cone. You can check out my Layer by Layer tutorial on how to design your own, and I'll have it linked below. We printed the horn in regular glow-in-the-dark NinjaFlex without any support material at 40mm a second, which is kind of fast for TPU filament. Our little M3D microprinter did a great job with Tough Stuff and Cheetah NinjaFlex, both printed with a temperature of 240°C with no heated bed. We also experimented with a dual extrusion version using 2 colors on our Sigma 3D printer from BCN 3D. Now to make it glow, let's start by preparing our wires. This silicone coated stranded wires is really great for this project because it's flexible and it doesn't break easily. We'll use some wire strippers to remove a bit of insulation, basically exposing the wires. I recommend tinning the wires with a bit of solder, which will make connecting them to the LED much easier. Next, I'll trim the legs of the LED and take note which one is positive and negative. Then I'll tin those up and solder the 2 wires. Now I can solder the positive wire from the LED to the SW pin on the JST breakout and the negative wire to the ground pin. I'll plug in the battery to the JST breakout and flip the switch to test the circuit. If everything is good, we'll have a nice glowing LED. This LED holder will keep it in the center of the unicorn horn, and it just snap fits into this little hole. Now we can plan out where we want the unicorn horn to be. Here, I'm putting it in the lower center of my hoodie. I used an X-Acto blade to mark out where I want the LED to be, and then I just poked a hole through it. Then we can push the LED through the hole and pull it through the other end. Now we can fit it into our little LED holder. I'll put it back in, making it flush with the fabric. I'll place the unicorn horn over the LED holder and orient it so that the tabs are in a good spot. You basically just want them away from the seams. I used a needle and thread to create some tight loops around the tabs and made sure to tie a few knots on the inside of the hoodie. Then I'll just snip away any excess thread. And we'll repeat this process for all 4 sew tabs. I also made some loops around the wires just to keep them from going all over the place. There was a convenient little pocket on the back of my hoodie that could house the battery, but if you don't have one, you could always fit it into the tag. Now you can turn it on and we should have a very glowy LED unicorn horn. So it's pretty flexible and it's soft, so it won't hurt anything or anyone. And if you print it in glow-in-the-dark filament, it looks pretty cool.
That's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope this inspires you to start planning for Halloween. If you want to check out this project and many other projects on the Adafruit Learning System, you can check out our YouTube playlist. It's a Halloween playlist, and we'll have it linked right up here in the card. We'll have some more projects planned, but until then, I'm going to make like a unicorn and disappear.
Okay, and then we have 2 time lapse. I'm going to just show a little bit of each because we're still speeding along this week. So here's croc clips.
Okay, that's adorable. I was like, what is that supposed to be? But it's quite cute.
Yeah, and then here's Volcano. Okay, don't forget on Thursdays, 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro, the longest running 3D printing show. Okay, we're going to switch gears up a little bit, Lady Ada, before we do new products. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, so here's something we're trying to do, folks. Every week when Lady Ada gets asked to do a talk at an event, we try to stream it live so everyone can see it. West Point, that's the second time we did a talk with West Point. This time it was a stream. The previous time you and I went and did some talks there, but they let us do that, and a lot of the O'Reilly events are into it. We've done that, and some of the locations out there that want, or some of the events, they, no matter what we say or do, they're just like, well, they're sponsors and they really want you to visit. That's what it comes down to.
We're getting paid a lot of money
Yeah.
to show off your meat body, so
Yeah.
get your meat body over here.
So sometimes it's difficult to tell internet events that the internet should be used for talking about technology and some of the challenges, and location doesn't matter, and we can use great HD video and all that. So one of the other things we're doing is when we get asked to participate in surveys or have can I pick your brain, Lady Ada type questions, what we say is okay if we read these off on the air and the whole audience can hear it. You get what you wanted, which was a video chat or a phone call or a visit, and you get the information you want. And you can also, a lot of these are forward-looking, live broadcasting from a factory is kind of the future too.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to show off a factory? I mean, like, I'm not going to bring the factory to
Yeah.
an event.
Okay, so here's the 3 questions.
Okay.
We'll do your answers real quick. Just stuff off the top of your head. Then I'm
Yeah,
going to
sure.
read some of the stuff that folks on our team said. First one: how is the maker movement influencing trends in the software programming and coding? What do you think?
I think that there's a lot of integration with hardware, which I'm seeing. People are saying it's not enough just to have software anymore. There has to be a hardware component. So like Internet of Things, it's mostly software, but there's still sensors or displays or lights. So I think that people do software are getting a little bored of just having everything on screen. They want to have physical interface, and that's happening even on phones. Like the software in phones uses the accelerometer, the gyroscope, the GPS. So even if they're not wiring it directly, there is still hardware involved.
Okay. What can software programmers learn from making their own devices and machines?
I think it's always really good to know how the software interfaces with the hardware and how that goes down in a level. Like understanding the limits of the hardware will help you understand the optimizations that are possible with software. So it's like people are like, well, I want to push this much data from a sensor or through a wireless link. It's until you actually played with that wireless link and you understand like, oh, Bluetooth is quite slow. I'm not going to be able to transmit video over it. That might be a challenge if you don't have a lot of hands-on experience, or like what output the sensor is actually giving you. Most people understand accelerometer is just give you acceleration data, it doesn't give you position. You have to interpret that data in software.
Okay. Are some programming languages better than others for making or customizing hardware? If yes, which programming languages are most useful?
I think it depends on your needs. Like there's sometimes when you're really optimizing, you want to go to machine code, or people who do FPGAs or CPLDs, and especially when you're doing extremely advanced, very time-sensitive stuff like SDRs or video HDMI handling, you might go with an FPGA. For most people, C or C++ seems to dominate. Some people use Rust, but that's still very new. I haven't seen a lot of people use Rust. Python is kind of becoming more popular. It's a sort of a recreation of old computers, but they're now microcomputers. So, we've moved from assembly code, which people were doing with computers like 30, 40 years ago, to C, which people are still using now, to now people they use scripting language like Python or JavaScript. So we're starting to see move to higher level as we're getting microcontrollers that are more powerful.
Okay. And so those are the 3 questions.
Great, that was easy.
Yeah, but I'm going to
read. You don't have to do it on a plane at all.
Yeah, so or a phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So we also asked some of our team members. So I'm just going to read these really quickly. How's the maker movement influencing trends in software programming and coding? One team member said, the maker movement reeks of a contemporary reiteration of the hacker ethos, 1960s MIT, 70s home brew computer club, 80s home computers, that technology need not be an ivory tower affair, that it can be an expressive medium for everyone, lay people, especially youth. That this idea is far from being played out. So I agree. That was a good one. Next up, here's another one. At a micro level, the maker movement helps teaching science, STEM to young kids and preparing them for a future in technical fields like programming. The younger they get interested in coding, the better they'll be when they're in school and entering the workforce. Inexpensive platforms like Raspberry Pi allow developers to easily spin up utility monitoring and other dedicated machines to improve development workflow. For example, using a Raspberry Pi's dashboard to monitor production issues, bugs, workflow without high equipment and other costs. Another answer. Let's see. that one was skipped. So I'm going to go to the second question.
Okay.
What can software programmers learn from making their own devices and machines? What can a child learn from touching a hot stove? Oh, that's pretty good. The experience or internalized rather than simply dogma by rote. There's knowledge and then there's wisdom. I agree with that. Learning how to code in memory and performance-constrained environments like embedded systems helps program and write faster, more efficient code. Then they go back to the more powerful desktop and server environments. So, debugging and more. You have to learn exactly what each instruction in your program is doing and what it's causing, where it's causing the problems. I agree with
definitely.
that too.
It's like if you understand, like, I'll see people who are just like, oh, I don't understand why I can't get this data. And I'm like, well, your I2C isn't running at full speed because your pull-up resistor isn't small enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting how issues that are high up in the chain can sometimes be traced down to like, oh, yeah, of course you're not going to get good signal, or you're going to get, you're going to get noise in your audio because you aren't grounding properly.
Yeah. So we'll post up all these, but I just want to give everyone a taste. Thanks, Tony and Scott and Phil B. and Lady Ada. But those were the questions, and we're going to keep doing this. We're trying to, because you're a voice for many. So what we want to do is, if we do a talk at West Point, or if you answer some of these things for an upcoming paper, we should get it out there so everyone can hear it. Anyways, okay. Next up.
Okay.
Guess what time it is?
Is it time for new?
Yeah, the code's Voyager first. Kirk entity, show us the new products. Here it is.
New.
Yeah.
New.
Okay.
Okay.
Stuff is
Time
new.
for
There's
new.
still a few Ada boxes. This would start with Ada Box 02. I think there's just a couple left. If you go to adafruit.com/Adabox, you too can get an Ada box. Okay.
Ooh, what's going to be in it? Okay. So the Ada box, I can't tell you what's in it because that's the whole point. Check that out. Check out the video at adafruit.com/Adabox. Let's go straight to the new products. This week we added the light blue Bean Plus. This is a Bluetooth low energy microcontroller dev board from Punch Through. Their whole thing is it's very integrated. They make it very easy. It's you program it over Bluetooth. I guess maybe you could program it over USB also now. I don't remember, but the old one you could pretty much only program over Bluetooth. But it's basically if you want to do like BLE development and you want to kind of rock it in with a very powerful, ready to go setup. This is it. So this one can do Bluetooth low energy with it's a module from Scilabs that I can't remember, the BLE 113 or 112. It's got an Arduino microcontroller on there as well. So you've got I2C, SPI. You've got all the things that you know and love about Arduino, but it's wireless. It's small. It has a battery on kind of a backpack. And I think it's kind of like, this is kind of the high-end luxury Bluetooth development environment. So, it's you're going to pay a little bit
The
more.
McLaren.
What is up with the McLaren thing? Because I didn't.
There was a rumor that Apple was going to buy them or be a strategic investor, but instead it looks like they're either going to purchase or just get the employees from Lit Electronics or Lit Transportation.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's lit. All right. Well, this is the Apple of Bluetooth development environments. Very elegant, very advanced, can do a lot.
Okay.
With the Bluetooth, but it is not low level. It's a higher level. But for a lot of people, that's what they prefer. They don't want to do. They don't want to get the Nordic toolchain out.
Okay. Next up.
Okay, and then actually, can you skip to the third one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is the wait, go back.
I'm going to go there.
Wait, stop.
I know,
Okay,
I will.
good.
Yeah.
Wait, hi. All right, this is the Electron from Particle. So it is a all-in-one cellular plus battery charging plus online IDE, a fully online IDE, Arduino-esque C++ like IDE that uses the Particle core, same setup as the Photon, if you're familiar with that one, or the Spark core, which was their first boards. This one is cellular, so it's gotten a little bit bigger. It's backwards compatible with the Particle, so there's more pins, but it's like the first group of pins is like the same location and size, so you can plug it in. But basically now you're upgraded from just data over Wi-Fi to data over cellular. It doesn't do audio over cellular. I believe it's only, I don't remember seeing any way to get headphone or audio out from this device. You can only do cellular, but you have two models. There's 2G and 3G. The 3G is going to be more expensive, but it's going to be a lot more future-proofed. 2G, while it works in many, many locations, it works here in the United States just fine if you're using T-Mobile, and it's probably going to be supported for many years. If you're using it in a country that is going to shut down their 2G service or has shut down their 2G service, or you want to use AT&T in America, then you get the 3G version. So on the bottom, there's a little SIM card holder. There's an STM32 microcontroller. There's a battery charger and boost converter, all that good stuff. A big 10th ohm capacitor. Here's all the pinouts. You get like analog digital converters, I2C, SPI, like DMA, all that crazy jazz. And it comes as a starter kit. So if you go back 3. Yeah. So it comes in a box, and you get the particle itself, the electron. You get an LED, and you get some resistors over there. You get an antenna, which looks like it's fill, like the antenna is coming out of you. So you're the antenna. Micro USB cable. You get a SIM card that comes with, I think, 3 months of free data, like a couple megabytes per month, which is perfectly fine for your usage. Maybe it's like 10, 20 or something megabytes per month. Good enough for data transfer and uploads. You get a cool sticker, a photo cell. I mentioned the LiPoly battery over there, and some resistors. So it's basically like a pack kit ready to go. You get everything to do some very basic projects, a breadboard as well. So check it out. I think it's kind of neat. It's the most promising of all of the like cellular all-in-one devices out there. We also have the Phone a Feather, but it's not going to be as advanced. It's not going to have a web IDE. The Phone a Feather that we have is only programmable over Arduino. So there you go, trade-offs.
Okay, ARG.
ARG. It was Talk Like a Pirate Day a couple days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Here is the flotilla.
Yeah.
It's here. This is one of our favorite new learning platforms.
This
It
is
is
epic.
neat. It is neat, and they went above and beyond.
This is
We're
crazy.
just gonna go right to the overhead because you got to see.
Okay.
You got to see some of the stuff that went into this.
Yeah,
The
hold
box.
Hold on. There's just
Box is amazing.
So you get this awesome box,
Yeah,
which
look at this
comes
guy.
with, it's got this
look,
like
it's
beautiful
printed.
art. It's got all these happy fish things in it.
We like round electronics.
Round electronics, and you get all these parts and pieces. So you have this main board,
Look at these color coded. Look at this, like candy.
like candy, and so it's very nice packaging.
I think they went
So
crazy with the.
Each board has a, this is like a 7-segment
What's the focus?
display. Sorry about that. I was so excited by this box.
Yeah.
So each board has, it's fully assembled. It uses micro USB as the connector, but it isn't actually micro USB. It's a very handy connector, and then it has this kind of like a motherboard, which is round. It looks like this, and it basically allows you to connect 8, like an octopus, different sensors, and you get like I think 10 or 12 different sensors, from neopixels to temperature barometer to touch to motion. A color sensor, light sensor, all of that good stuff, inputs and outputs and whatnot, and then joysticks and some kit parts to make like a robot and motors and stuff. So it's kind of like an all-in-one kit. And you program it, use a Raspberry Pi. There you go. Use a Raspberry Pi to program it. And it comes with a couple different ways of programming. You can use like a drag and drop system, where you can actually type it, code in Python. It's really intense. This is a Kickstarter, which they have released now into the public. You can purchase it. So check it out.
Yeah,
Show
I mean,
us
just like all the little details that went
It's
into
like
this.
silk screen.
Yeah,
Look at this adorable silk screen. It's like
it's a circuit board,
it's a circuit board, but it's so cute.
and then there's
It's a little octopus, and like each leg is a little.
yeah, and there's
thing.
this like little case that goes on it. Anyway,
Yeah.
they did a great job. Congrats,
This is an epic.
Pimeroni.
Epic
This
release.
was a lot of work.
And this is a huge amount.
This is a lot of work.
This is a lot of work, but you know what? Like the Piquet they did was a lot of work, but it's very successful now.
Yeah. Okay.
So this very cool system from them. 20 projects involved. Great for people who want to do stuff and are not advanced programmers. They want to learn. It's a great gift. I think this will be a very popular gift for the holidays. Okay,
All right.
that's Flotilla.
Next up,
Whew.
more from Pimeroni.
Yeah, we got a big
They got some
shipment from them.
micro dot fat.
This is the micro.fat. So this comes with these like really. I've never actually seen these, but they have a part number, and you can get it from DigiKey, these adorable little 5x or 6x8 displays. Look at how cute they are. They are wicked cute. And so they have a little animation that you can do. It's just monochromatic. You can turn pixels on or off. I have a little demo here showing it with a Raspberry Pi Zero. Can you switch to, okay? Yeah. So this is with a Raspberry Pi Zero. You can use it with a Pi B Plus or whatever, any Raspberry Pi that has a 2x20 connector. But it's lovely on a Pi Zero because, of course, you get this, cute effect. It's interesting. It looks like this is dimmer, but when you look at it, you can't see. I don't know why it seems that way. It seems very even to my sight. Maybe the camera's confused. But it comes with demo code and Python and all that good stuff, and you can scroll messages or whatnot. Very adorable little display. You solder it together. It comes with 6 displays, the hat and a connector. But it's pretty easy. Just get your soldering iron and just whip through them, and you've got a little microdot display. So this is displaying the incorrect time.
Okay.
But that's the demo it comes with.
All right. Next
Cute. Okay.
Ardy boy.
We're not even to the biggest thing either. Look.
I know. We're gonna run over a little bit. Is that right?
We're now. It's fine.
Yeah.
So this is. So I think it was also a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo. I don't remember. It was a crowdfund. It's an adorable little gaming platform. It's the size of a credit card. I think is maybe a little bit more. It's fully assembled. Comes to you as is. It has an Atmega 32U4 Arduino compatible chip inside of it. All these little glossy buttons. A cute case. A 1.3-inch OLED, which is the display. A battery in the back. A very skinny battery. Charging circuitry. So this is the RG boy. Let me see if I can get it to not flicker as much. Well, you don't see the actual refresh, by the way. It's just a camera effect. To me, it looks very smooth. But you have. Let's see. Let's play, and it's got even a little buzzer. Okay. Yay! So you can play little games, and there's a bunch of games written for it, and there's a synthesizer and some demos and stuff. And you can program it all in Arduino, which is really cool. And the display looks really great. And even though it's monochrome, by doing dithering effects, you can have a really nice gameplay. And I think they used the sped up SPI, so you get super smooth animations. You don't see the redraws at all. So they did a really good job with that as well. Comes with an on-off switch here. There's this battery charging over here, so when I unplug it, it runs without. Yeah. And then what's nice about it, you can just turn it off whenever you want because it's an Arduino. Turn it back on. Team Arg. So it's got a speaker as well. The speaker's over on the back somewhere because I don't see it, but there's a little piezo speaker as well, so it can do synth tones and beeps and stuff. So it's really cute little design. Great for people who want to hack the open source software and write their own games or demos. I think it's cool. You can open it up and solder stuff to it.
Yeah, this is cool.
Super cool.
This is one of the coolest products.
This is very cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Next up, lady, I think what a lot of folks were waiting for this week. It's here.
Yay!
ESP32. This is the dev edition now.
This is the dev edition, and explain what that means.
We're working on some other stuff.
So the ESP32 is the successor to the ESP8266. The 8266 is a very popular Wi-Fi microcontroller, which after a lot of effort by a lot of very talented engineers got support in programming in Lua, MicroPython, and Arduino, which is by far the most popular that we've seen. People love using it with the Arduino IDE. It's very inexpensive. But the thing about the ESP8266, it's great, but there's a couple things it didn't have that people really wanted. It didn't have a lot of pins available. It didn't have a lot of analog digital converter pins, and the one pin it did have was limited. There's a lot of things were taken up by the requirement for bootstrapping all these pins when it boots. And it could do a lot, but people maybe wanted a little bit more power. They wanted built-in hardware encryption, all that good stuff. And so the ESP32 is the answer to that. It's not a replacement. It's just a more advanced version. It has a ton more pins, peripherals, DMA, dual core, Bluetooth capabilities as well. It's EPIC chip, but it's very, very new. So we sold out of these. They went to a lot of ESP32 developers who are very fast on their feet or fast on their fingers. We will be getting some more, so sign up and we'll notify you as soon as we get more. This we're selling a limit of 1 right now, just because we want to make sure we can get these to the developers who are going to be working on porting and adapting all these exciting code bases and languages. But it is a very exciting new chipset. We're super psyched to use it for a bunch of projects. We've been waiting for it. We had the ESP31, tried it out. There was almost the same exact chip.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
So let me break it down to everyone what's going to happen.
Break it down.
So we got these dev boards.
We got these dev boards.
Okay. We're working on the Feather Huzzah version. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's going to be a ton of Kickstarters and more.
Oh, you're going to see a lot
They're
of
racing. This is going to be the best thing
Everyone's
ever.
freaking.
So many promises will be made. Anyways, so that's what's going to go on, but we'll have our thing out pretty soon.
Yeah, and we don't do pre-orders. We're not letting people pre-order these on purpose, because we just want to make sure that when we get them in, people get notified. We ship what we have in stock.
Yeah. So that's what we're working on. Okay, Lady Ada, with that is new products this week. You did it. Congratulations.
Yay.
All right, well, before we jump into It's Not Out Yet, Don't Ask, codes, Voyager, but spelled Voyager. That way you get the discount. Let's go into Top Secret.
Okay.
Okay, Top Secret's not out yet. Don't ask. From the vault. All right. You told me what you're going to show, and it was the Feather Huzzah.
Yeah, I thought I just showed off. This is just...
Here it is.
It's just a preview, and I've got the PCB as well. This is for the ESP3212, which is a very slight derivative of the ESP32 module that we have here. It's a little bit smaller.
Oh, did that camera kick out?
The camera kicked out.
That's unusual.
Wait, video frozen. It even says that.
How's that even possible? I've never...
You're just going to reboot it?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Wow, you're crazy. We'll see if this...
Well...
Super. Anyways, so the ESP3212 is a module. It's a little bit smaller, which makes it perfect for the Feather. It's about the same size as the ESP8266. And we crammed it in there, and I just kind of squished some pins around and some parts around. But we got it to fit, and so... Oh, yeah, here you go.
That's what I thought.
Okay, nice work. You beat it into submission. So we've got this. This is that dev board that we have now, which is a great dev board. And then this is just the Feather version. It's not that much different. It's just a little bit squishier. And it's going to have built-in battery charging. And, of course, it'll be Feather compatible. We're going to also wait a little bit to check out what the default Arduino pins are, because, each pin can be muxed to any peripheral. And so whatever the default I2C pins are, we want to make sure that those are in the I2C spot, and the SPI pins are in the SPI spot. And I think the UART pins are set, but the analog digital pins, whatever they decide to mux the most, we'll make sure in the right location. We also designed a little breakout in case we wanted one, sort of like our Huzzah breakout, and that's for this module. So we have one of each option, but we'll probably end up making this in a couple months once the modules become more available. Right now, they're not very available.
Okay. All right. And
that's not out yet.
That was It's Not Out Yet. Nothing wanted that to happen. It's like I'm not going to show
I know,
it.
but we were persevering.
Yes. Back in the vault, you.
Okay, don't ask.
Okay, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to answer questions. Start posting them up in the chat. Don't ask anything from the Not Out Yet, Don't Ask section.
It's not out, don't ask.
Yeah, ask your questions. We'll speed around this, and then we'll then we get to go. But we'll do that.
Yeah.
I guess this is for, have you ever designed a board with something hidden under the top solder mask copper layer?
Just antennas.
Okay.
Yeah, no, really. Usually everything is there and visible.
All right. Should I use a Raspberry Pi on my home internet to run a Tor relay?
Well, it's probably against your ISP's terms of use. I don't know if they would be able to tell. There is. I mean, if you're not an exit node, your risk is limited. You can limit the amount of bandwidth the Tor relay uses. As you can tell, I'm not answering your question. It's up to you. We definitely need more Tor relays. Running off of your home internet is going to be challenging, and it's an exit node again. But there is still a risk that if they can detect that it's tour traffic, you would get booted. I don't know if there's a way to detect if a relay is. I mean, I guess it must be with deep packet inspection. There must be some way to determine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to an exit node, and they, most of the exit nodes are well known now.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a bit of a risk.
As long as you're okay with getting blamed for something you didn't do.
But that's not unlikely, because that's usually the exit nodes on
Yeah.
blamed.
That's on exit node land.
Yeah.
But just a relay probably doesn't matter. But
don't point your finger at me if your ISP shuts you down.
I mean, internet. If you're in the U.S., like our internet barely works anyways. Like there's always problems with Time Warner or Verizon or whoever. It's barely working anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, the URL for Adabox is adafruit.com/Adabox.
So easy.
You can keep this high level. What's the difference between the ESP32 and the 8266?
Check out the ESP32 product page, the part that we just talked about, because it actually has a lot of the details, but it's a dual core. The cores run twice as fast. You can overclock to 240 megahertz. Has a bunch of analog digital converters, has 2 DACs, has multiple peripherals, DMA, Bluetooth. I believe it has hardware encryption capabilities built in, which is really great. Speed things up. Probably a whole bunch of other shit I can't remember off the top of my head.
Are we ever going to sell long, thin LiPo batteries that fit in between the feather headers?
We do. It's called the 350 milliamp hour battery, specifically
You asked.
chosen so that it would fit in between.
They're in the store.
There you go.
Okay, can you control servos and neopixels with the Feather M0 and send the PWM constantly through Arduino or Macs?
I have not tried running both. The servos are run through a timer, so I don't see why not. The only thing that really has trouble with neopixels and servos at the same time is really basic microcontrollers like the Trinket. I don't even think the 328 has too much difficulty. Oh, I guess because if you turn off the interrupts, it shouldn't matter. As long as you use a timer output to generate your servo wave, it doesn't matter if you're using a neopixel.
Yeah. I'll do this one, which is your favorite Star Trek Voyager character, Tuvok. Next up.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for just taking that one.
Yep. Next up. Is it possible to jam cordless phones, DECT or 2.4 gigahertz with a device similar to the Wave Bubble?
Oh, absolutely. You can jam anything you like.
Okay. What would be the best business structure for Electronic Kit Store LLC Corp or LLC or Corp? You can start out as just a LLC, a sole proprietor, and then see how things go. I mean, that's usually the first step. Talk to your accountant.
Yeah, it really depends on how many people are forming the company and like if anyone's putting in equity, if you're planning on. I mean, it goes on and on. So this is actually it's important to do this one step right. Sort of like setting up your database. You want to set up your database right, and then like as long as you set your tables up right, the rest of it becomes a lot simpler. Setting up your corporation correctly will save you a lot of grief later.
I'd say the most important step is just make sure you have an accountant and you're filing taxes correctly and you're set up to succeed. Yeah. Failure, if it happens, there's no money, it's over. But if you have success, if you have success, you need to know what to do with the money.
There's nothing you have to do to prepare for failure.
Yeah.
You only have
if
to
you
prepare
fail,
for
like
success.
no one's going to talk to you.
Yeah, nobody cares.
So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Does the Atmega 328 is programmed with Arduino, and where can I find it? Okay. I think they're asking, can they?
Yeah, you just have to put the bootloader on.
Yeah.
There's tutorials. Just Google for Arduino bootloader program Atmega 328. I bet there's like 5,000 links.
Okay, this one's definitely for me. Will you ever change your hair color? You would look good with blue. Why, thank you. Okay, next up.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a little like streaks or something.
Yep, next up. What chip should I use for simple drone autonomous flight patterns connecting via radio or Bluetooth?
I would actually go with radio. I mean, if it's going to go any distance, check out the RFM or LoRa radios, because those are going to be able to go much further than Bluetooth. Bluetooth is you're dealing with all this like Wi-Fi noise, and Bluetooth is not very long range. Those RFM radios work great.
Okay.
I mean, there's other radios, but those are the only ones that we carry that I think would be good for it.
How can you figure out what filter to use for sensors, and should another filter be applied after sensor fusion?
Oh, it totally depends on the sensor. I mean, of course, low-pass filters can be useful, or band-pass filters can be useful. If you're doing sensor fusion, there's a bunch of code out there already for like AHRS, for taking multiple sensors and getting the data you want, but knowing how to get that data out, that's the challenge. You have to figure out what it is that you're looking for.
Okay. Let's see. Any thoughts on creating kits or other DIY products that require users to work with mains voltages?
No, I mean, not really.
I mean,
we have the relay wing.
Yeah, we wouldn't really. I mean,
there's no point.
Yeah.
There's very little benefit to using main. I don't like people like, you should just plug into mains. And I'm like, I have almost never seen a project that benefited from being connected to mains power. It's like, because you want to use the 60 hertz frequency for a clock base. It's like you can get an RTC for under $1 these days. Like, why risk it? You know, a power supply you can get plug-in power supplies to give you USB or 9 volt or 5 volt regulated even these days.
Yeah. Okay. Is the Mega 328 NAS tube clock programmable with Arduino?
You could, but it was written before Arduino, so the default code is in C.
Okay.
It was very similar to Arduino.
All right. Okay, let's give away something. I mean, we did a bunch.
I think we did a lot.
That was a lot. Okay, Lady, what are the rules for...
Rules are, if you've won something before, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. If you've won something, sit on your hands so you can let somebody else win a fabulous prize. What do you think we should give away? What do you think we should give away?
So I think the ESP32 development board, only because ArduBoy is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
These dev boards.
This is limited.
This is going to go away eventually.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a little piece of history because, like, you know, we have all these different dev boards, these different Arduinos and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this is, imagine having one of the first, like, dev editions of the ESP8266. That's kind of cool.
Okay, no, just because I was like, well, you know, maybe
so
you said it was the coolest thing we have. This is cooler.
Well, this is
cool.
more historical. Where the Arduino...
Also, you can't get these.
You can't get them.
There ain't none left.
Yeah.
This is like one of the last ones. I have one on my desk and
Okay.
a couple for devs here to work on, but this is it.
All
ESP32 dev board. Oh my God. So if you are interested in doing ESP development, this is definitely one of the contests you want to enter.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what the question is this week. You ready?
Yes. Ready, everybody?
Yeah.
Type into the chat. You know it.
She was the one who redid Johannes' Kepler Harmonics Mundi, which was chosen for the opening track on the Sounds of Earth, which was in the Voyager spacecraft in 1977. So we did this in our time travel section. So if you were just paying attention, you would know her name.
Yeah. Were you listening like 20 minutes ago?
So it's pretty much that easy. But she was one of the ones who worked on the record.
I said she was really cool.
Yeah.
She has a lute.
Yeah.
Cool pants. Check out her pants.
Yeah, known for her algorithmic composition software, Music Mouse. And the answer is Lori Spiegel. Congratulations. Cholet won. Cholet won.
Okay.
Congratulations.
It's Orlando.
Is it?
He won something.
Is it Orlando?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just typing the username.
Yeah, it's fine.
You
I saw the little icon pop up.
Okay. Email support@adafruit.com and you get that prize. Tell them
$32.69.
$32.69. Congratulations. Nice. So I don't. Yeah. Let's see.
Of course, the most advanced microcontroller goes to the analog guy, right?
Is it true? I don't know because I
think it
only
is.
have a little thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations.
It has a DAC on it, so you could simulate a pulse.
This prize found the correct winner this week.
Okay, good.
All right. Congratulations. All right. That was a trivia question.
Nice work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. We're getting out of here. Thanks for sticking around. We ran a little bit over. While we're cleaning up, I'm going to play a little mini tour video that we did last week. Thank you so much. The code is Voyager. Boldly go where no maker has gone before. And if that's our store, use the code and check out. Get 10% off all the way up to $11.59. p.m. Thank you so much, everyone. All the remote folks, all the folks here, all the folks tuning in, and all of our friends, family, and extended community. You make this happen every week. Thank you so much.
All right.
We'll see you next week. And here's a picture of a cat. Meow.
Meow.
And here's your
Little
moment
do
of
people
Zener.
know, Mossman is a tour relay.
He is a tour relay.
Very slow.
Meow.
You pull on his tail, he meows.
All right, and then here's a mini factory tour while we clean up here that you guys can watch.
Lady, what are you doing?
Hey everybody, well, I'm at my desk at work, and today what I'm doing is I'm working on testers a little bit. So I got this Fona tester. It's fancy new tester, and it uses an Arduino Zero. So I got this like nice clamp and all this good stuff here. And yeah, I got a new board, a tester that I'm working on for a new board I'm working on. This is the Max 31856, so it's a little thermocouple. And we're going to be pick and placing this in a couple days. So maybe we should go and take a look at the equipment we're going to use to manufacture this.
Speaking of, we did a little tour during the day yesterday, so I thought we would do one of kind of the end of day. All the folks who like audio and video are terrified of the idea of a factory sound, so now there's less of that. So
Silent, like a library.
Your headphones, your artisanal headphones will be safe for a bit. Okay.
All right, so you want to take a tour?
Yeah, I just thought we'd go this way.
Okay. Okay, this is a journey through fab. Okay, this is my workbench. This is where I do some work too. You can see I got a nice cable collection. Okay. Now this way.
There's Vance. Vance leaving tonight. Bye, Vance.
Vance, I wonder what you're working on. That's cool.
Creating my secret. Don't
Okay.
Oh, sorry, secret.
know who I am.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Vance. See you tomorrow.
Okay, this is where we do our feeder reloading. And we got some parts getting ready for tomorrow. And these are the silent sleeping pick and places. We only run the pick and places, like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
3, 4, sometimes 5, but usually like 4 days a week.
We built a work order system that helps us manage all the jobs and more.
Yeah. So that's what, it was like everything is totally scheduled ahead of time, so we always have the parts. The toughest part about a pick and place is that it makes things very fast. You have to make sure you have all the components in hand. So for example, this is like a next work order, and all the PCBs are already counted out and they're ready to go, and we've got trays of components here, reels of capacitors and resistors all ready. These are kittened, like the cute little fuzzy animals, but also like a kit of components. And then starting from over here, we've got the board loader, and that's a little thing that takes the PCBs and it feeds one at a time. Okay, we have a little computer over there. That's actually the original computer table for the pick and place. And this is the stenciler. So that's what squeegees liquid metal on, and which is very sticky.
Like the Terminator?
Huh?
Like the Terminator?
Like a very flexible Terminator. This is like Terminator yoga. He's just like squooshing out everywhere.
All right.
Okay. Not shiny either. Not like a shiny Terminator. And then this is the first pick and place. This is the SM41, and this is, even though this is the 481, it's actually faster than the 42. It has a lot of nozzles. It picks up all the components at once and places them down at once. So it's very fast. It's 10 pickups. And so when you put the feeders in, it's actually smart enough to tell you where to put all the feeders to minimize the amount of time, because it knows how many parts and like how to move them. So it like does a whole bunch of math, which is lovely. And this is the SM482, which is our original Samsung pick and place. And this one, it has bigger nozzles, but also has a upward-facing camera, and it's better. This pick and place is better for larger components. So once you get 2 pick and places, you have to specialize a little bit. So when we program in the job, the software that gets programmed in splits the work in half. It actually looks at the circuit board and says, okay, all the resistors and capacitors over here, all the connectors over here, and it actually makes it so the amount of time that each pick and place takes is equivalent, like as equal as possible, because you have to balance the job. This is a couple $1,000 software, like definitely like a PhD traveling salesperson with a knapsack full of components type of problem. I'm sure some PhDs just like totally loved writing this code. It's true. No, it's like exactly what it's like. Every like algorithms project, and then here is the QA station. So this is a little like intermediary part, and it's got a foot pedal, and each board and each panel, which is made out of like 10 to 50 circuit boards, stops here, and then we have a little inspection. And so this is their inspection booklet, and the inspection booklet lets us see what we're making, make sure we're making the right thing, and then it goes into the oven, and then the oven melts the solder paste, that terminator. The T1000 gets melted, and the paste turns from like a liquid, it's like peanut buttery kind of paste into liquid. It's called liquidus, and then it melts and it solidifies. At the end, there's a cooling station. It cools off, and it basically solders all the components at once. It's much faster than doing them individually. It basically does, because it's as fast as it goes to the oven, is as fast as the boards pop out, and then they pop out over here. And then there's a little deloading station where all of the panels that are pick and placed are ready to be picked up, and then we test them, repair any work that needs to be repaired, there's the rework state, and then depanelize them, and then package them up and send them to people around the world. So that's kind of what Fab does. And here we have all the bins of parts waiting to be tested and prepped. And here's a little table where we put stuff.
I believe we've had that table for 10 years.
This is what the original pick and place sat on, because we had a very small pick and place. So that pick and place weighs like 700, 800 pounds.
Yeah, I think that little metal table we found in the trash.
This one?
Yeah, I think so.
No, this one I got on McMaster.
You got on McMaster?
Yeah, it was like $100.
Most of the Adafruit furniture
nice
in our apartment was
solid.
from the trash.
Yeah, and then we used it for like a dinner table for a bit in between. And then we've got the selective. Can we reach?
Well, this was a successful video test.
Yeah.
So we'll do more later, but that's it, Lady Ada.
Okay.
Not done yet.
Okay, you're gonna back it up?
Yeah, I want to just, the only way to get good at Rolly is Rolly.
Go backwards.
Yeah. And that's that.
Yeah. It's Fab.